If I were to ask you what would make your Switch experience better, your Nintendo Switch experience, what would you say? More control, rapid fire, RGB, more comfortable? Well, in this video, I will show you a product that can help you with all of these. So what can help you with all of those things that I talked about? Well, a company called Nixie has the answer. Nixie is a relatively new company. They've got a lovely website and the link to it is down in the description and also in the pinned comments. So make sure you check it out if you want to see this product and more. You can get yourself a discount by using the code TootXB at the checkout. But today we are here to talk about these specific Joy-Cons that they have provided. To be transparent, they have sent these to me to have a look at, but they do not see this video before I post it. What are these Joy-Cons? Well, they're available worldwide. They have back buttons. I say back buttons, they've got one back button, so one back button per Joy-Con. They come in 3 different colors. You've got black, milk, and transparent, which isn't really a color, but I'm going to count it as a color for the purpose of this video. They come with RGB lighting on the thumbsticks that have multiple colors and also a sort of rainbow option that allows you to cycle through colors automatically without having to do anything. And also you can use them connected to the harness that comes with them or by connecting them up to your Switch itself. And most importantly, rapid fire or turbo buttons are available as well. And those are some of the things, or those are the key things that we will come to throughout this video. So the question is, do all of these features work? Well, for the most part, yes, they do. Let's first talk about mapping the back buttons. Now, you're supposed to be able to map any of the playable buttons onto the back buttons. When I say playable, I mean like your A, B, X, Y, your bumpers, your triggers, etc., etc., etc. However, I struggled to get the bumpers to work. Every time I tried to get the bumpers to map to a back button, it just didn't work. I could map every other button, but not the bumpers. Now, it could be that you're not supposed to be able to, but the manual does state that you can do it. So that is a bit of a disappointment, but you can get every other button to map to the back. So as long as you're not too hooked on the idea of having the bumpers mapped onto the back button, then you should be good to go. Now, as much as I love mappable back buttons, the question I have to ask is, do you really need it on a Switch Joy-Con? Are there that many games where you're going to want to have a back button that's mappable? Now, the problem here is that you can only map to the back button on, let's say, the right Joy-Con. You can only map a button from the right Joy-Con onto that right back button. You can't map it onto the left, which means you are very, very limited considering you only have 4 face buttons and the trigger and the bumper. So the face buttons are the natural ones to want to remap. But if you've got to press the other 3 buttons anyway, then why map one of them? You can use it. It's useful. I just don't think it's as useful as when it's on a controller that's all in one, where you can map any one of 4 paddles to any single button, for example. That's a much better scenario. It's nice to have the feature, and there are going to be times when that is going to be useful for you. Rapid fire or turbo. Now, you can actually use this on any single button. I have tested this, and you can use the turbo function on any of the buttons. I didn't find a button where I couldn't get it to work. You have 3 different settings. You have off, which is just standard, press the button and it activates. You have turbo function, which is where you enable it, and then when you press and hold the button that you've enabled turbo for, it will just keep on pressing that button rapidly. You can enable 3 different speeds for the turbo function, which is really useful if you want to just have a punch, 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 or a punch, 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 punch kind of effects. You can switch between 3 different settings for the speeds. So that is useful to have. And then you have the auto turbo, which is exactly the same, except it just does it all the time without you having to press the button. I'm not sure there's a scenario where I would want it to just automatically constantly press one button, regardless of whether or not I was pressing that button. There might be some games out there that I haven't played where that would be a useful feature. But for the games that I've got, it's not something that I need. So turbo on and off are the 2 settings that I would use. And you can use the turbo on not just any button, but you can assign it to multiple buttons. So if you want the top 2 Y and X buttons to have rapid fire only, you can do that. If you want A, B, X, and Y to rapid fire, you can do that for all of them, and so on and so on. So you can have any combination of buttons having the turbo fire enabled, which is a very, very good feature to have. Vibration adjustment is handy. The full on vibration 100% is probably a little bit too much. I turn it down to 75% and I find that to be just about right. It's kind of like the sweet spot, the chef's kiss of vibration on this Joy-Con, in my opinion. So that is something that is very, very useful to have. Thank you very much, Nixie, for including that. Thumbstick colors, being able to set thumbstick colors, much like RGB on anything, is absolutely unnecessary, but we're gamers and we like it, so it is nice to have that selection. You have multiple different colors that you can choose from, including red, blue, green, and some other ones. There's a yellow. Some of them don't look too good, some of them do look really good. You can also set a function that's like a breathe or rainbow, where it just cycles through them all automatically. It's not an essential function, but it is nice to have. And you can also adjust the brightness of it as well. So you can have it completely off, or you can turn it up through different degrees until you get to the maximum brightness of the color that you have selected. And it's really easy to change as well. So well done, Nixie, for that. Finally, when it comes to charging the Joy-Cons, you have a USB slot in each Joy-Con. You can charge them independently of each other. You only get one USB-C charger that does come with the Joy-Cons. You don't want to charge one at a time. You want to charge them both together. You can do that by plugging the Joy-Cons into the Switch and putting them on the dock. I've had them on my dock for quite a while. And when you take them off, sure enough, they do still seem to work. So you can charge them independently if you want to. Personally, I use the Switch Joy-Cons when they're on the Switch. I don't use them separately. I have a Pro controller, so it's not too big a deal for me. But if you like to use the Joy-Cons off of the Switch quite regularly, you might want to just check into some stories about battery life on them. So are these good value for money? Well, they are some of the more pricey Joy-Cons on the market. As standard, the white ones that I've got will cost £54.51, and that's a bit more in dollars. That's a lot of money, but they are regularly on offer, and you can get them for about £38.93. The black ones are slightly cheaper at about £36. Again, that is with a discount. You can use the code TootXB at the checkout as well. That will get you a bit more of a discount and make it a little bit more palatable when it comes to the price. So it is one of the pricier sets of Joy-Cons on the market. But the question is, are they value for money? What do they offer? Well, I've tried many Joy-Cons and most of them don't have turbo functions and back buttons and RGB lighting. And this is where the extra money is coming in. It's for those extra features. If you need those features, then I think it is absolutely worth it. The games that I have that require it the most would be Hyrule Warriors and Street Fighter 2. You know, you could use rapid fire on the light punch or light kick or whatever on Street Fighter, and that'd be quite useful. But other than that, I don't have loads of games where those features are particularly useful. If you're the kind of person that needs those features and uses the Switch a lot off of the dock, then I think this is worth the money. It is worth the money. It's a good price. If you've liked this video, please remember to hit that like button and do subscribe to keep up with any other videos